Hey Eric, it's Ryan, and I think the card is finally done. So I just wanted to shoot a video to go over a few things, see what you think, if you like the way I did certain things, or if you recommend any changes before we get out there and really start tearing it up and enjoying it. But thank you again for the rubber mat. This is awesome. It really protects the floor pan powder coat, which is nice. So then I trimmed it a little bit further, fit perfect. The cut you did was great. I just trimmed up top a little bit to fit in, and I kind of put it up as high as possible. And what I did, so it's removable and washable, is I put these double-sided tape Velcro stickies. This is stuck to the floor. This is here and actually holds on to the rubber really well. And then you have to actually push them in, and they kind of click into place. So they hold very well. It's removable if I need to remove it, but it's also protecting the floor pan, which is great. So thank you for sending that. Overview: steering wheel. Found this rubber thing, put it in the middle. The 3 bolts on the backside. I think I used a little bit of Loctite, and they're fine. The hub's on. It's right up to the point of where the powder coat ended. So I'm really happy with how that came out. I got the fairing on. I just decided to get some of these holders, put them on, and got the nice bolts and stuff like that just so it looks finished. And then on the backside here, the backside, I have the on and off. So this thing is locked in place and is not going anywhere. I love that it's in here and tucked from a side profile. You really can't see it. But ground down on the backside a little bit and then tighten the screw into the bare metal to ground. The wire goes up and into the frame. You can't really see it, but there, maybe you can with the back in here. But it goes in there. I have a little rubber grommet to protect that. So that's in place. Seat came out great. Brake rod. I have flipped the front pedals since the last time I gave you a layout. This is so my oldest daughter, Isabella, can actually reach the pedals. I have yet to test if I can get in there and control it, but she's able to reach it this way. She wasn't before. Brake rod, I adjusted it in order to get those pedals set up right. I had the shrink wrap to protect it from rubbing up against the frame. I also put some grip tape here just to kind of smooth it. I had another part there that I did just to be safe before when the pedals were forward. This was actually pressed up more against the frame, so it's just some stuff to kind of protect a little bit. So what I'm going to do is try to put a little bit of grip tape probably here. I just ordered a small roll of grip tape to come in, and I'm going to actually trace it and put out the holes and stuff, and maybe just try to get a really nice finished grip tape on here so the kids' feet or shoes don't slide down. Before, my daughter fit in here perfectly, but her feet were sliding up and down just because it's a powder coated surface. So put a little grip tape there, kind of keeps her feet in place, and then she can operate this better. So I'm going to do that. Spindle assembly. I just wanted to go over wheel camber and the spindle assembly. I just want to make sure that this is the right setup. It's really powder coated surface. There's a little plastic bushing in there that goes up, and then, but there's not really much of like a washer or anything between the spindle and the arm here. There were 2 washers, the spring, and obviously the bolt. I put the bolt head on top and then the nut on the bottom for cosmetic reasons, but tighten that down, and I can't tell if this is right because I've tightened it down further, but when I pick it up, there's actually the slightest bit of play where this is actually going like this. The spindle is actually moving a little bit, and I can't really capture it on video, but I don't want to tighten these down too much because I fear that I'm going to squash that little plastic bushing in there, and then the metal is going to be riding on the powder coat. And if that's how it's supposed to be, fine. I just didn't want to tighten it down without getting it checked out first. But that's how they are on both sides. In terms of camber, I think I've showed you this. This is, I don't think, something I can control with everything, with the wheel straight and the alignment straight. I mean, there's a decent amount of camber in terms of the tire contact. It's kind of what we're getting there on that side. And then on this side, very similar amount. So if that's okay, fine. Just something else I wanted to point out and show you and check. So what else? Throttle cable connection I wanted to go over. And so if I come around this side, Just want to show you how kind of clean I did the installation. So I have the throttle cable in there. This is taut, so it's not loose. Wiring, I have the cable that runs underneath the frame. Used zip ties to tighten everything up. Kind of kept everything tucked up so there's no wire or cable or anything like that. And then I did kind of a clean job out the back here where everything is taut and not loose and nothing's really gonna catch. And then we have your throttle cable bracket that's in there, and that came out really well. I do like the layout of this. I have the cable rubs ever so slightly on the top of that. Really not an issue or anything that I care about. Just want to make sure that that's right. This is in here. I took pliers. I took the end of this, took pliers, pulled it back as far as I could, while at the same time keeping an Allen key in there to tighten down the cable and keep this thing kind of pointed straight. So that's, again, really taut, and made sure that it's taut with the pedal in the full back position. And then I also checked too that when the pedal is fully forward, it's pulling the throttle all the way as much as possible. Or at least until it hits that screw in there, right there. So, but for now, it's the screws in for the kids so we don't go too fast. But, you know, I stole, as per your video, I robbed some of the bolts from other places and got the longer one in there. I also rotated the pull start. I think last videos or previous pictures I've put up, I had it where it was here and I was starting it from the front, which is fine because I'd flip the switch on, come over here and pull it this way. But it does look much better with this at the rear, and I'll just reach and hit the button in the on position, step back and be behind it and pull it. So I'm glad I rotated that after seeing one of your videos. The only thing with this setup is when this returns, it is hitting the two nuts that are on top of this bolt that go down, and again, it's your bracket. But I just wanted to make sure that that's okay. I'm not sure if I could take this arm and actually like bend it back more. I'm not sure, but right now it has a tiny bit of binding because I had to bend this down. So, you know, throttle, it'll go back, but it is binding ever so slightly. Actually, once I test that, I'm gonna test that to see how it is. Otherwise, I wonder if I can just honestly cut this arm off, because if it's not needed with the bracket, I could just trim the rest of this off to here so it's behind this here, and there's still enough where I can reach in here and pull this back if I want to. But it is binding, you know, ever so slightly right now. So let's see what you think of that. Oh, stage 1 kit. So stage 1 kit's on. It's awesome. I put the jet in. There were 2 jets that came with the kit and 1 emulsion tube. I'm assuming that I used the new included emulsion tube with either jet. That is what I did. I have the original emulsion tube out with the original jet, but I just want to make sure that the 1 emulsion tube that comes with it is okay. I ended up putting in the .036 GX340 jet. So just want to make sure that that's good. But other than that, everything looks good. The only thing is, after the break-in or the one start, the chromish muffler is flaking. It just chips right off. So all the shininess is off. And if it's supposed to be this color, just let me know. But we put the exhaust wrap on, and I just want to see what you thought. This is only after about 30 minutes of the engine being on in the cold. So chain play, another thing. What I did back here is I used the holes in the engine plate back here, and I ran zip ties. And I ran zip ties all the way here and around the frame and back. And I did that for the left side and the right side with all of these bolts and nuts loose. These 2 in the back and then the 2 in the front. And this way I was able to pull the zip ties and hold the motor back as far as possible while trying to ensure that it is, you know, even on top of this frame. You can see a little bit of the purple here, and you can see a little bit of the purple here. And I wanted to make sure that your silver TAV plate was back far enough where it was kind of equal on the frame itself, and while at the same time ensuring that the chain is aligned straight and the sprocket is straight too. So the way I have it now, if well, you can actually see the master key right there, the master link. You said about a 1/2 inch of play. So just want to see if you think that's too much, too little. But right now, if I roll it forward and then I give it a little bit of tug, it's about a 1/2 inch of play. It's pretty taut though, because I, did that trick with the zip ties to get the motor back, and then I locked everything down evenly. But it has a little bit of play on it. I mean, I'm pushing, I have to force it, or you can actually see like the tire move too, or the whole cart move. But let me know if that's okay. What else? Oh, then the other thing is I